From the misty Pacific coast to the rugged Cascade Mountains and beyond to the high desert in the east, you are listening to the Oregon First Hunting and Fishing Podcast.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast. Today we are talking about the life of a West Coast outdoorsman. So if you love Pacific Northwest hunting and fishing, you're going to love this podcast, especially if you've ever wondered why us West Coasties don't get near as much airtime as the rest of the U.S. We're sitting here on a bass boat in Dorena Lake, and I'm with our guest, Jason Haley, ex-pro bass fisherman, gone outdoor writer, living in Southern Oregon. I'm your host, Bryant, and I don't have a co-host today, so that's going to be up to you, Jason, all right?
I can be your co-host.
Yeah, good. In this episode, we're going to talk about the West Coast bass fishing scene, how Jason's life led him to a career in the outdoors right here in our backyard, and have a conversation with our guest, Jason Haley. So Jason is a hunter, angler, and outdoor writer from the great outdoor town of Boerne, California, now living in Rogue Valley, Oregon. He's a member of the Northwest Outdoor Writers Association. He used to be the state secretary of the Oregon Hunters Association, and he's a regular contributor to several print magazines. Well, as a reminder to those of you who listen to the show, make sure to follow us wherever you'd like to. We're on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram's probably most active, even though I haven't really been posting lately. I've been kind of cooling my jets. Leave a review wherever you're listening right now, and join our club at Salem First Hunting and Fishing Club. We just went bass fishing last month with the club and had a ton of fun. Got a decent amount of fish in the boat and gave away a whole bunch of free baits. So if you want to meet us in person and join us for some of that stuff, we'd love to have you. And a quick note to the listener for this episode, since we're recording live on the water and out in the wind and the rain, please forgive me if the audio quality is not quite what you're used to for our show, but hopefully the conversation is even better, right? Because we're doing what we love to do. So Jason, you ready for some icebreakers?
Yes, sir.
All right, the first one.
Can I keep fishing?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be fishing too in just a minute.
All right.
Fishing or hunting?
Was always hunting, then it was fishing, and now I'd say I'm back to hunting again.
All right.
Long story.
Yeah. Bass or salmon?
Bass.
Bass, yep. Turkey or deer hunting?
Oh, that's a toss-up. I can't answer that.
Can't answer it?
Love them both. The answer
You
is
love
yes.
them both? Okay.
The answer is yes.
All right, well, how about deer or elk hunting?
I think probably deer, especially now that I'm
Yeah.
getting old. I can't do the work for elk unless I've got help, and
Yeah.
solo elk is probably not happening for me right now.
Were you a elk rifle or archery?
Both.
Both,
I've done both
yeah.
over the years, yeah. Taken 4 elk with a bow and
Nice.
6 or 8 bulls with a rifle.
What's the elk scene like in California?
California has a lot of elk right now.
Yeah.
The herds have been growing since I was a kid.
Okay.
There's just not a lot of tags, not a lot of hunting opportunities.
So is that because of the state or is that because of private property?
Access is becoming more of an issue, but they just have had the same quotas on those hunts for many, many years, and there's a lot more elk now.
Oh, okay.
They just need to adjust them. There's more opportunities also, but they went to a modified preference point system about 20 years ago, and I've got 24 points for sheep. I've got 21
Wow.
for elk and antelope, and yeah, I still haven't drawn anything.
What on earth is a modified point system?
75% of the quota goes to the max bonus point applicants, and then 25% of the tags are random draw.
Okay. Well, that's what we do in Oregon, but there's something weird too with like a certain amount of them have to be non-residents or something, but very few for Oregon. I don't know how it is in California. Because now that you live in Oregon, do you still do anything California hunting-wise?
I do, because I've been in Oregon for 23, 24 years now, but
Yeah.
I've still got family down there. My sister lives in Shasta County. My dad still lives there.
Well, to be clear, it's not like you're from LA or something. You're from Northern California.
Yeah, little town called Boerne in Shasta County.
Yeah, it's not the when people say California, most of the time they think of the desert, but it's it's a lot like Southern Oregon.
Yeah, it's still home to me, even though I've been here 25 years. But I do love Oregon.
Yeah.
I do love the hunting and fishing, especially. I raised my kids here, you know. They're both full Oregonians. They were born here, so they love it here.
Okay. Yeah, so you came here and started your family.
Yep, 2003, I guess. And then my son was born in 2005.
So earlier we were talking and you said that you started doing the bass tournaments like in 2005. So you were doing those mostly in Oregon then, in Northern California still?
In Northern California, but also Southern Oregon, Medford. I started fishing with my buddy Logan. He had a Ranger, and I was tagging along with him for a couple years, and then we started getting competitive with each other. So I bought a used Nitro in 2006, then got into the club scene a little bit, and I bought a Triton a few years later in 2009, I guess, and then traded it in for this Ranger that we're riding in today.
So on the bass scene there, like you started off as a co-angler with your friend, like you just said, but then as soon as you got your own boat, were you really getting pretty serious about it?
Yeah, it's pretty addicting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you love fishing and you like gambling, which I do and probably shouldn't do, but it's just it speeds up your learning curve, you know. You're processing so much information so much faster because you're covering more water, you're talking to friends, you're just digesting so much information, and yeah, I love it. I grew up trout fishing, but the bass is pretty addicting.
Well, that's why you have this awesome boat that we're on, right?
Yeah, I started dabbling. I started fishing a couple of pro tournaments. I fished my first one in 2011 or 12, I guess, an FLW tournament on Shasta, which is big water down there in Northern California.
Yeah.
Almost sunk my boat that first tournament, left the plug out.
Oh no.
Ended up soaking wet in January and fishing all day in the wind. And
oh, a January tournament, huh?
yeah, the guy I drew said, "You've got to go back, you're gonna freeze to death." I've got some clothes in my truck, and I said, "No, we're fishing."
Yeah.
So I just waded into my chest to put the plug back in, because I had a plug under my old Nitro. This one has a remote drain plug. I just flip a switch back there.
Oh, really? I did not even know that was a thing.
Yeah, right there by the big motor, you just flip the switch and I can replug it, but I didn't know that then, and so yeah, I was a fool. I wasn't anywhere near close to a pro. But then a few years later, 2017, I actually cut a check in a pro tournament, which was fun.
All right.
Took 8th in a 154 boat tournament, I think.
Wow.
And then I bought this boat thinking I was going to do more, but then everything kind of hit the wall.
And then when did you start writing? Was it right around the end of your bass career?
About the same time. I started writing in about 2009, writing articles online for My Outdoor Buddy, which was an online outdoor news magazine. But then I started writing for some print magazines as well. And I was selling advertisements for those publications and promoting my fishing sponsors at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was very, very busy, but I was also taking care of my 2 little kids full time, and it just kind of wasn't working.
Because the wife's the surgeon of the family, right?
My wife's the breadwinner, yeah, and it's a different kind of life. But yeah, then the Lord kind of knocked me on my butt in 2015. I got diagnosed with the systemic form of mastocytosis, and I had an allergic reaction and almost died. And
wow.
So they did a spinal tap to determine that, and we were talking about lifespan issues and all those things.
Wow.
And it really, then nothing else mattered. None of the hunting and fishing and not getting to go when I wanted to, none of that mattered anymore. I just wanted to be available for my family,
Yeah.
for my kids. And it changed my whole perspective. Just, I got a much better attitude after that. And I've been good. I've been healthy since then. I think it was, I have a little pill tray, but they told me at first I wouldn't even be able to exercise more than 15 minutes. And I play basketball, I coach track, I do a lot of things still. I didn't get into the support groups, I didn't read any of the information. I've got more faith in God than I do doctors. So
that's coming from a guy whose wife is in the medical field.
Yeah, I know. I grew up in church. I got saved. I got baptized when I was like 9 years old. So I just have a lot of faith, and I just felt like it was a wake-up call to get my act together and be a little more obedient. And And so I've tried to do that the last bunch of years, and they've been the best years of my life.
Oh yeah.
These last 10, 12 years. And I'm about to be an empty nester now, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been out here now since about 9 a.m. Is that when we met? Started a little later, but the bite window was supposed to be around then anyways, if you subscribe to that, which I believe in bite windows. I learned that from Kyle, who I go fishing with quite a bit. But we've been enjoying mixed weather.
Yeah.
It'll be glassy and still, which is pretty rough fishing. And then it'll be choppy and windy and raining.
Yeah, we're just out in a big old jungle grass flat right now, and I'm laying on the trolling motor and just fan casting spinner baits, just
Trying to find something that wants to bite.
hoping beyond hope of connecting with something. But I'm pretty baffled. I haven't been fishing much at all.
Well, windy weather means use a spinnerbait.
That's what they say, but I don't know. I hate to even offer an opinion right now. I feel kind of getting...
Maybe we shouldn't be recording a podcast.
Yeah. You needed a better guide today, because everything I've tried hasn't worked. I know that.
What are you talking about? You have a bass boat.
Yeah, but one of my dad's friends, Gerald Parnell, he used to always say, the bass don't know what you're driving.
Oh, hey, that's some good advice there. I'll take that.
Yeah, right?
As the owner of a homemade aluminum John boat,
That's right.
I'll take that. Any kind of encouragement I can get.
Bass are no respecters of fancy bass boats.
Yep, that's true. You know, one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about that I just find super fascinating, especially guys like you and me who we love bass fishing, and we're from the West Coast. We're out here, you know, whether it's California, Oregon, or Washington, we all kind of have the same biodiversity, you know. But it's weird to think about how these fish aren't native.
Yeah, that's what my sister tells me. She's a fisheries biologist in California.
Yeah, okay. Which part of California?
Same part, Shasta County. Yeah, she works for a firm called Spring Rivers Ecological, and she's like a mussel specialist.
Oh.
She does a lot of diving and snorkeling and stuff. She's a freshwater mussel specialist.
For the invasives, right? Or
No,
for the native ones?
Shasta crayfish are her thing, and freshwater mussels. She's kind of now got herself as one of the experts on the West Coast.
Very cool. Wow.
So she's no real lover of black bass, but she does like to fish too, though. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't know that.
I started kind of researching it, and the reason it's such an interesting conversation to me is because from a young age, I've had a hate for invasives instilled in me, like a deep hate, you know, whether it's, especially with plants, right? We have blackberries, Scotch broom, all these things that just completely take over the woods. And especially in the areas where I hunt, it can even make it kind of unhuntable.
The Scotch broom is really bad. Yeah.
Or like, a clear cut gets taken over by Scotch broom, or a wood lot is just full of blackberries. So I've always hated invasives. But then when I learned that bass are non-native, and as much as we hate to say it, they probably could fit on the invasive list, just because of how they take over. But turns out in Oregon, none of the warm water fish species are native.
Really?
Catfish, crappie, bluegill, perch, smallmouth, largemouth,
Everything.
any of those, not one of them are native to Oregon.
Huh.
And they were all planted here in the 1800s.
Well, so were pheasants.
Pheasants and turkeys.
I happen to love both.
And they're all, pheasants are from Asia, but everything else that we've listed is from the eastern half of the United States.
Yeah.
It's such a weird dichotomy to live in as someone who wants to get rid of all invasives, but then on the other hand, I don't know what I would do if I couldn't fish for these things here, you know?
Yeah, and you think about the biblical worldview, you know, where we're given dominion over these things, and I think some translations even use the word subdue, or so we build it for ourselves, I guess, and I guess that's why they brought the pheasants and the bass and the wild pigs.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's some things that are damaging, like turkeys. They've been studying it for a long time. They can't find any ecological damage that turkeys are doing, you know? Like, they're just great to have around. They kind of fit a niche that nothing else we had really lives in. And they don't really cause any problems. Bass, on the other hand, obviously our salmon are suffering big time.
Smallies, yeah.
And
definitely.
they put the hurt on them, especially like in the Columbia.
I know they took the bag limits off those, didn't they?
Yep, they did the same thing for stripers,
Yeah.
which again, non-native East Coast fish. But the thing that kind of cracks me up is how we have the bounty on the Columbia for pike minnows, which are native. They are a native fish, and yet we don't have a bounty for smallmouth or any bass on the Columbia.
Yeah.
It's a weird place to be.
And they're still having some pretty big pro tournaments there on the.
Yeah,
and it doesn't seem to be hurting the smallmouth populations.
Here's the thing, I don't foresee a future ever where bass are villainized by the average fisherman.
Yeah, I don't know. My sister kind of badmouths them sometimes too, but she's in freshwater salmon and
Yeah.
Fishery management and stuff, so conservation. But
Yeah, I definitely have heard the grumblings from wildlife professionals like what you're talking about, from biologists, and people who really, really care about salmon and trout. Other than that, they're like a transplanted animal that we love to fish for.
and there's nothing better for kids, which is kind of what I
Yeah.
know that you're big on that, and so am I.
Yeah.
Just trying to get the younger people opportunities, and some of the opportunities I had growing up were just so amazing. And if I can just show a kid a fraction of what I got to do when I was young, and bass are so good for that. I mean, put on a bobber and a night crawler.
Yeah.
Or a shiner under a bobber and sit in a chair, upgrade to plastics later when you get a little older,
Yep.
I mean, kids love it. You can take your whole family out, and when the fishing's good, you can slay them. Not like today, but
Yeah.
we're gonna figure something out. You're gonna catch one.
We'll get on something. We'll
wouldn't-
figure out this rainy, windy day.
I wouldn't guarantee that I'm gonna, but I'm hoping you'll catch something.
And we're out here doing a public service, trying to showcase one of these invasive species, largemouth bass.
Sure are fun though. And people eat them, I guess this fishery's got too much mercury, I think. I've heard, to be eating them too often.
Yeah, that's the thing about most of the warm water fisheries in Oregon. You can only eat so many of them because of the mercury. Even if you're on the Columbia, let alone the Willamette, is known for its mercury and other heavy metals.
Yeah.
It kind of makes the problem a little harder to solve, because it's not like people are all going to start eating bass. And we've got a pretty big culture, catch and release bass fishing culture,
Yeah.
I've never eaten a bass. And when I see people going home with a big stringer of 3-pounders, it makes me sick,
I've jerked the sides off a lot of them when I was younger, pond fishing and stuff, just learning how to fillet them with a pocket knife and some pliers.
Oh, yeah.
But you want to start an argument in the bass fishing community, talk about eating fish, especially big females,
Oh, yeah.
then you'll see things blow up. You take a new guy fishing, he goes back to your spot, and then the next thing you know, he's barbecuing the 4-pounders, the 5-pounders.
Yep.
It's like, oh.
Yeah,
okay.
that's not fun. But that's kind of what brings up the discussion of the non-native versus native fish, is all the native fish are the ones that we love to eat,
Yeah.
Like, you catch a good salmon that's legal, you're gonna take it home. And then you catch a good bass, you're gonna release it and hope that it has lots of babies and reproduces.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing to think about.
Interesting, huh?
The other thing is that we will never, ever, ever get rid of them, even if we wanted to.
They're too good at hiding in the deep grass, out in deep water,
You just
offshore.
can't get rid of them. And so it's another way that humans have permanently changed the ecosystem. Like you said, for better or for worse, there's positives to it, is that we now have an epic fishery that we love. The downside is they have an impact on native species.
Yeah, for sure.
So then where do we go from here? I mean, carp, another example of a non-native that they just kind of exist in our rivers now. It's not like in the east, you know, the Asian carp that are in the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have anything like that. The carp that we have, honestly, aren't really that bad for the environment, you know. They're eating grass and they're making the water muddy. That's kind of the most damage they cause. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and stick to, when it comes to invasives, I'll just keep fighting against the blackberries and the Scotch broom, and I don't want to talk about the bass.
I knocked down a pheasant, or my son did a couple years ago, in a big blackberry patch, and we ended up bleeding. That tore us completely apart. Couldn't even get the dog in there. It was just impenetrable.
So you shot a non-native pheasant into a non-native blackberry bush.
Bunch of Himalayan blackberries, yeah, and tore us up.
What do we got there?
That was a
Nibble.
bite. That was a bite, but it was, again, a little pecky.
You switched to a stickworm?
Yeah, that might have been a trout or panfish or something.
I think it's going to be hilarious if one of us catches a trout out here on a Texas rig.
I got ready to set up on that, and he just spit it, so it's not bass. I'd settle for anything right now, though.
Well, Jason, we asked the same question to every guest to start off the interview. I'd like to know your favorite hunting or fishing story, experience. Share it with us.
That's tricky, because that's what I do. I'm an outdoor writer, and I've written a ton of stories. I don't know what would be my favorite. I mean, with the adventures with my son have been the best, and I'll tell you one quick one. When I had gotten sick there in 2015, and a lot of emotions and things, and I was still having little issues with it for a few months, we went to the Big Island on a vacation, and I was snorkeling like in 100 feet of water with my son, and we were just holding hands kind of, and I was a little nervous for him mainly. But I was also worried about my heart, and like I didn't know how much exercise I could handle and all this stuff.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a bunch of spinner dolphins came. We started hearing this strange noises, just squeaky sounds, and all of a sudden these spinner dolphins are working around us.
Wow.
Zooming by us, coming by, saying hi. And it was pretty special. It was like
that's cool.
Got to enjoy that moment, and
wow.
That might be a bite right there. Oh, that was, but it's pecky again.
Yeah, so today all of our bites have been little pecky, must either be small fish or who knows what, just little pecky things.
Definitely tapped it, but it just...
But it is a majority of our bites. I think almost all of our bites have been on the Texas rig, except for a couple of topwater taps.
Yeah,
right?
And we're seeing some baby bass around. It's just we haven't figured it out yet. I don't know if this change in the weather just put a damper on things, or I just haven't been fishing since March, so but I did need to run the boat, and it's great to be, it's beautiful out here.
Hopefully there's plenty more opportunities for you to go fishing with your son and hunting, make some more memories.
Yeah, I sure hope so. The world's kind of a funny place right now, but we got to keep doing our thing. And
well, you're just exiting the season that I'm entering, because my son is 5.
Got little kids,
yeah, and so
it's a great time.
You know, he's just getting to school age. He's able to cast on his own now, which is a big deal. So he loves fishing. He constantly is going through his tackle box and telling everyone what the different lures are for. But awesome. And then your daughter now, your youngest, is just now graduating, so it's kind of it's interesting to think of that, two different sides of the road there, you know.
Yeah, well, since I've already been there, I'll give you one piece of advice. Just don't take it for granted. You've heard it a million times. It goes really fast. I'm sure people have told you that, but it's so true. And sometimes it just wears on us, the schedule, and there's another one.
I'm gonna change colors here.
But it's a privilege to get to. You know, it's a blessing, first of all, from God, and we shouldn't take it for granted. I did for a long time. I thought it was crimping my style, because all my friends had every weekend off, and you know, all this stuff, and you get to where, and I got a bad attitude, and then the Lord knocked me on my butt, and I got a better attitude. And I have had since then, so I got a real scare. And now
with the medical thing.
Yeah, and now I am appreciating all the little things so much more. That's all that matters, you know?
Yeah.
We just get hung up on so many things that don't matter. And just the little things like today. I mean, if we catch a fish, that's great, but look at this. I mean, look at this grass flat right here. That is gorgeous.
Yeah, I thought I was hearing a loon out there. Maybe I'm crazy because they're more coastal, I think, but...
It's like a true marsh right there.
Yeah, it's a wet...
Probably underwater for... Oh, there's a heron.
I feel incredibly blessed that my 5-year-old is just obsessed with the fishing. My 2-year-old daughter, obviously, is a little young, but she just loves being on the boat. Like, any chance she can get on the boat.
That's awesome.
She gets real frustrated when I don't go full throttle.
Of course.
When we're just kind of putting around, she's all, go fast, I want to go fast.
Right.
But there's different seasons in life for everything, and I get to go out a ton. I don't get to go as far as I normally like to.
Yeah.
But, you know, the kids will grow.
Yep, and doing things together, that's the key, you know. Doing things together, those are the best times, and they do go pretty fast.
So one of the things I wanted to hear your perspective on and talk to you about is just the identity of being a West Coast outdoorsman, and how, as far as hunter persecution goes, we are in a pretty hostile environment.
Yeah.
Both politically and even just what people think about hunting. But you've lived out here your whole life.
Yeah.
You know, Northern California, Southern Oregon.
It's a great country.
And
awesome country.
You know, you and me are kindred spirits in that. Like, we love it. Man, I would have such a hard time leaving the West Coast. As much as it sucks politically, but like, I just don't think I ever can.
I'll never leave. I'm gonna go down with the ship. If it's going down, I'm going down with it. We just, gotta try to make it a better place and use our little sphere of influence, whatever that might be, and try to make things better. But no, man, we have everything out here. And people think of the West Coast, they think of the beach, California, you know, Southern California.
Yeah.
But, you know, Northern California.
We have the real West Coast.
Yeah, and we've got the ocean just a little ways away. We've got mountain lakes, great big game hunting, fishing of every kind.
Yeah.
Bird hunting. It's all here within 3 hours of my house.
Backlash number one.
Just like this place. You fuzzed up?
Yep.
They call that.
But yeah, just like this place, you're right.
Professional overrun.
A professional overrun, huh?
That's what they call them. Yeah, I say, you know, they're within 3 hours of my house, any direction. There's just so many things to see and do, and it's great country. We do got to take care of it, that's for sure. And sometimes I feel like we're our, outdoorsmen. We're our worst enemy sometimes. Some of the garbage you see online and social media. I mean, there's just some crazy.
Yeah.
Just some stuff. The obsession with numbers and, it's the competition, I guess.
So because you're an outdoor writer, you probably have a better global perspective than I do on what hunting culture might be like outside of the West Coast. I don't know if you feel like you do or not.
I mean, I get probably the same sources you do, television and a few friends or relatives from different parts of the country, but I know we're pretty blessed out here. The West has always had the bigger, wide open spaces,
Yeah.
We hunt bigger properties, a lot more public land.
Uh-huh.
And I don't like bugs and humidity either, so. So, I mean, we're pretty blessed out here.
Yeah.
Even though access is not what it was when I was a kid, the timber companies are really squeezing people out, but.
Yeah.
Some of them are trying to, like Green Diamond, they got a relationship with OHA and they're letting people in, and OHA cleans up their lands for them periodically. So some of them are trying, and some of them even sell permits, which people complain about, but it's not very expensive for what you can do, some of these timberland permits, and I'll probably get yelled at for saying that, but I do wish they would get open door policies like they used to.
Well, I don't know if your part of Oregon. Hampton is really that big. They're kind of one of the bigger property owners up here where I hunt. And
what's the name?
Hampton Lumber.
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah, I don't.
For so long, their properties were just open access, following the fire rules.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
This year, for the first time ever, they're going to a free permit system.
Yeah.
Which I am...
Oh, free permits?
Free permit system, which, it's free. That's wonderful, and maybe it'll help limit like vandalism, because I just can't stand it when people vandalize, especially timber company land. It's like, it's a privilege to be there in the first place.
I know.
It's not even like, it sucks when someone vandalizes public land.
Well, like I say,
but it sucks even,
We're our worst enemies,
Yeah.
We absolutely are.
But anyway, Hampton Timber now has a permit, a free permit. And I really hope it stays free, and I also hope it solves the problem they're trying to solve. But I think we're going to see more and more of that, like either permit costs or free permits.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much stupid stuff that happens up in the hills, you know.
Yeah, dumping.
People don't respect it.
Dumping and fires they're very concerned about fires.
Yep.
And
which,
liability.
rightfully so, because when their woodlots burn down, what do they have?
Yeah.
That's the whole reason that they even own that property, is for the trees.
But it worked at one time. It's for some reason it worked at one time. When I was younger, you could go anywhere you want. No questions asked. All the roads are open.
Yeah.
What changed?
Yeah.
People say, I guess fire.
I mean, maybe fire, but I think that people are just generally more destructive than they used to be.
Yeah, it's our culture.
Driving off roads, smashing gates, shooting stuff, dumping trash.
Yeah, leaving their toilet paper on the ground. I love that. That one drives me nuts.
Oh, yeah?
I had a bird dog that rolled in some one time.
Ooh,
Ruined my deer hunt. Had to leave camp. I had to leave camp and drive an hour back home.
Oh, man.
Get him out in the front yard, pressure hose him, draw a bath.
Wow.
Lemon bath, and oh yeah, no, I was very angry at him and the person.
Well, we got off topic, but the reason we started talking about that was because of how much access there is in Oregon.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about how Oregon has such a unique hunting culture, and the West Coast really has a unique hunting culture, and I'm glad it's this way. But why do you think it is that the West Coast hunting and fishing scene doesn't get as much airtime as the rest of the United States?
Good question. I know that in the tournament scene, the pro tournament circuits are all back east, even though we've got some of the greatest fisheries here in the country. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's pretty. I don't know a lot of things.
I don't know either. It doesn't make sense to me because we have elk, we have deer, we have turkey, we have bass, we have salmon, we have the ocean, we have a great, the Pacific Flyway is great duck hunting. And I just don't understand, but I'm glad for it though, aren't you? Because
I don't think they understand what we have here. I mean, some of the best outdoorsmen that I've ever known came from this region, because it can expose you to so many different types of water and habitats, and get experiences that you don't get anywhere else. I think the Mountain West gets a little bit of big game attention and stuff, but the West Coast, not so much.
Yeah, like obviously Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, like they definitely get a lot of press.
Yeah.
Especially for elk, but even for mule deer or anything like that.
Yeah.
The Ozarks in the east gets a lot of press for duck hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that's part of the reason we even do this podcast, is because no one really talks about what we do out here. But at the same time, oh, there's a different heron.
That's a GBH, right?
That's a pterodactyl.
I haven't heard that one.
It's like, on one hand, as a guy who consumes hunting media, I do wish that there was more stuff that pertained to my life in the outdoors.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I'm glad it even probably gets more attention than I want it to get, even though it doesn't hardly get any attention.
Yeah.
Because it's like I want to keep it a secret, as a writer, have you ever considered what you write about in the sense of protecting things from getting super well known or blown up?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've always been, my dad was absolutely the most secretive person ever. So yeah, I don't tend to do that. Although when I was working for My Outdoor Buddy, we were publicizing a lot of places, trying to kind of promote the region, in the things to do in the region, because we were selling advertisements to outdoor industry companies.
Got it.
And they went together. But most of them were well-known places anyway, but
Sure.
Trinidad, Shelter Cove, and
So there's sort of this weird balance point where you want it to be interesting and you want to write it for the West Coast guys, but then you don't want to blow anything up.
yeah, you want to keep a little bit, you always hold something back. Always hold a little something back. Even your pictures, you might crop out just a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
Crop something out that people might recognize, or not. The older I get, it's not that big a deal, Bryant. I'm going to be 55 in July next month, and the older I get, I do just kind of want to share it with people and let people enjoy the outdoors, because the world's a mess right now.
Yeah.
It's an absolute mess, and there's just, it's a great clean activity that you can do, a lifelong hobby, and I think it is just going to make us all a little healthier upstairs,
Sure.
just to quiet our minds and fade the noise a little bit. There's nothing like being outdoors,
Yeah.
I think we're kind of designed to experience it every so often. If I don't do it about once every 2 weeks or something, I start getting just not good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree completely.
My attitude is not good. I start getting a little crankier, and I can just tell I need to get my outdoor fix, whatever it is.
Yep.
Just taking a walk and
Yeah, I feel that. I agree big
and
time.
You hear God's voice a little better when things quiet down.
Yeah.
When you're not all these multiple noise sources going on. But yeah, there's a lot of things. But I'm doing old-fashioned print industry, and I got into it right when the print industry's pretty much dying. Magazines are going out of business, and
Sure.
they're taking them off the shelves. And
Yeah.
But I've always loved magazines. I grew up sleeping in the powerhouse when my dad was working on the Pitt River, and all the men had a bull room back there with stacks of Field and Streams and Sports Afield, Outdoor Life, all those magazines, It's funny, I look at some of those now, and they all have cigarette ads in them. You ever notice that?
Huh. Yeah, I've always thought it was kind of weird.
They're all like Marlboro, and it's the same old ads
Yeah.
in those old magazines. But
Well, the cigarette company's client base is also going away. So
I've just always been fascinated with hunting and fishing, but the outdoor magazines particularly. And I just got really lucky and had a couple of good mentors, and I've had a couple hundred articles published now.
So when you go to write an article, do you write the article before it's sold, or does someone assign a topic to you, or how does that work?
Usually you work closely with an editor, and you'll query some ideas, or they'll have a query call and ask for certain things, and they'll usually have a stable of writers that they work with, But sometimes without being prompted, I'll just offer something up or send something in. I haven't been doing much lately. I've literally been doing 1 or 2 articles a month. It just seems like...
Honestly, I expected that 1 or 2 a month would have always been normal. How many were you doing at the max?
Some people that I know in my industry, they're so busy. They're just, I could never keep up with them. I don't know how they do it, but I mean, I'd say true professionals,
Do you have a number of how many they might be doing a month?
Oh, I don't know, maybe
like as many as 10?
Maybe 10 or 12 for different publications,
Wow.
And then, of course, they're selling some books, and used to sell DVDs, and now those are gone.
That's crazy to think of writing that many articles. How do you keep them straight?
But the outdoor communication world has changed. There's a lot more people podcasting and doing the video stuff, and even some radio's kind of dying out, but I still love it. I'm just kind of old-fashioned.
Yeah. Is there a market for writing, but rather than for print, for internet?
Yes, there is, and it's actually easier in many ways. I mean, you can edit right on the spot, you know.
Oh, okay.
It's not as important if a boo-boo ends up in a magazine, everybody's like cringing, you know, but
Oh, yeah.
you see it online and you can go right back in, log in, fix it, or people you work with can fix it instantly. So a lot of freedom that way. I think there's so many bloggers and stuff now, it gets a little watered down. Used to be really hard to get something published, and everybody, you know, the social media is just such a different world from what I grew up in. Everybody's an expert about everything, you know, and everybody wants to argue about everything.
Well, that's how you get clicks.
Yeah,
And that's what it's all about. Say something controversial.
Exactly.
Say that bass are an invasive species.
The only reason I'm even on social media anymore, it used to be to attract sponsors and help sell some books, hopefully, and that kind of stuff, but nowadays I just keep it on there as just kind of a ministry. I'll share some, boy, you want to lose followers fast, try sharing some scripture.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's, but people got to see it. And it works, it does its own work.
Yeah.
You don't even have to editorialize it or add to it. Just let it go and let people, and you know, you never know how God's going to use it.
Yep.
So I'll sprinkle some of that in with my dead animal posts, which people probably think is strange, some people.
They just don't get it.
Yeah, they don't understand the reasons why we do it.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing to explain to people, it really is. I've actually had a few people stop me over the years and talk to me and say, yeah, they read something, and that kind of makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It seems, like I said, it feels like experience. It used to matter more in the outdoors,
Sure.
and it took a lifetime to learn certain things. And now, the information age we're living in, people can pick things up very quickly. These kids will come out 20 years old and just kick your butt in a tournament with not a lot of real world experience, because they are better with electronics, and
Sure.
they got more energy than you, and they got more buddies than you to share information with.
Yeah.
And it's like, used to be, you know, you had to be my dad's age, you had to be 70, and those guys were the wealth of knowledge, and when they sat down in a rocking chair to talk, everybody stopped and listened. Now, you know, you got 16-year-olds with their own pages and hundreds of thousands of followers, and catching the same bass in the same pond every day, and just a different world.
Well, where do you go from here in your outdoor writing career?
That I don't know. I've got a book that's basically finished. I just need to print it, publish it. But I had an editor look at it for me, and he put the ball back in my court about 6 years ago, and it's there it sits. But I want to get that book published and printed, sell some copies, give away some copies. Then I've got another idea about a book behind that one. Then I'll keep chipping away on the article stuff. But it's hobby money for me, you know. Sure. Helps pay for a little gas, and I'll get a check in the mail every month, and then I don't feel guilty about going and spending it. You know?
Well, it's an awesome little side gig.
Yeah, and I may ramp it up as the kids get a little more, you know, independent. And I always figure someday they wouldn't want to hang out with us, but my kids are so great. They still love hanging out with us, and mainly because we pay for everything, I think. That must be the real reason.
Invite them to dinner, and they know who's paying.
Definitely, there's a lot of outdoor adventures I still want to do, of course, and I always said I'd quit doing this stuff as long, you know, if there's no more firsts, like a first buck or a first greenhead mallard or first, you know, but there's always a first something. Yeah. So I don't think we're ever going to run out of...
Yep. So let's do some bass fishing tips now.
Tips? Oh,
yep.
You might be asking
I know,
the
right?
wrong guy.
We're definitely having fun today.
Kind of hate to give tips right now. But.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about, you know how earlier we were talking about not like name dropping spots and trying to kind of protect things a little bit.
Yeah.
On the podcast, one of the rules that we have is we never name drop something. But in the beginning of the episode, I had announced where we are. And I was thinking about it. maybe if this whole video goes without any of us catching any fish, then people won't want to come here. So it doesn't matter that I name dropped it.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't exactly murdered them.
If we do catch a fish, I'll go ahead and turn the camera off real quick. That way
Yeah.
no one wants to make the trip out here.
Yeah, we haven't exactly murdered them today, that's for sure.
I think one of the most important things in bass fishing is bait selection, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Oh, yeah.
But
Absolutely.
obviously, us bass fishermen have more tools in our arsenal than pretty much any other type of fishing there is.
We got to support the industry, right?
Yep, that's right. So we all go out and we buy crankbaits, which under the category of crankbait are many different types of baits. Pretty much any hard lure, right? Like what I have on the end of my line right now is a lipless crankbait. Earlier I was throwing just a regular articulated little crankbait.
Jointed, yeah.
There's jointed. Are jerkbaits in the crankbait family?
They're definitely a hard bait.
Yeah, they're a hard bait.
Big box of them back there where you're standing, and
We've got spinner baits, we've got jigs, all of the like plastics, like
Lots.
worms and crawdads and creature baits and salamanders and topwater, frogs,
yeah.
all kinds of different topwater stuff, glide baits. We kind of have an unlimited supply. And I'm not even just talking about what we have on this boat, even though we have everything I just listed on this boat. So when you hit the water, how are you selecting what you're going to be throwing for the different scenarios? Like even out here today where it's like a windy, not really windy, it's kind of breezy, but it's mostly like an off and on rainy, drabby day. Like what kind of bait speaks to you in that condition?
Well, I mean, it's always, everything's driven by seasonal patterns, time of year and water temperature. But, and then water clarity is a big thing too. Like today we're dealing with clear water. It looks a little muddier back in here, but
Yeah.
but it all depends. And then if you have any personal or local knowledge about the place, that's huge too. Spots. I mean, some lakes are spot lakes. Some of them are good enough fisheries where you can run patterns and catch them in a lot of different ways. But some smaller places, there might only be 2 good points on the whole lake.
What you're saying is it can be even as specific as the body of water you're on will determine what you're going to throw.
Oh yeah, because you always want to, just like fly fishing, you want to try to match the hatch, so to speak. So
Okay.
You catch a fish and throw it back there in the live well and he's coughing up crawdads. That's one indication that they're eating crawdads, so then you might go to like a football head jig or some kind of crawdad imitation, hop it along the bottom real slow.
Sure.
The way you retrieve and the way the bites come is determined a little bit by water temperature and seasonal patterns too. Usually post-spawn like this, you want to try to have a louder, faster bait, trigger them into a strike, But then again, I would assume we're well into the post-spawn here with this water temp. But
Help me think of all the different factors. So there's time of year.
Time of year for sure. Yeah, where they're at in their seasonal patterns, pre-spawn. Winter time's different than, the dead of summer. Fall, they start kind of schooling up on balls of bait. Some of the bait fish die off in the late fall. Water temperature or clarity is huge.
Clarity. Do you think clarity or temperature are bigger factors, or are they equal?
Oh, I don't know, equal.
So like everything just matters.
Everything matters. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, whether there's current, current's huge. They love to set up just like trout. Bass will use current just like trout will. When you're
Okay.
walking down a river or a stream, you see these holes
Yeah.
with the water coming down through. You look around a bend and you see the water coming around that bend in a current. You can just turn the nose of the boat right up into it, and there'll usually be a school of fish sitting there just having that current right in their face.
Okay.
Just like a trout would in a stream. But yeah, everything comes into play, and then, every fishery's different. There's some fisheries that I just hate, like back home, there's like 12 fish in them.
Oh yeah.
You could, some guys do pretty well, but I swear there's 12 fish in some of these. And then you have these world-class fisheries where it's just off, you could throw a bare hook in there and they eat it.
So far we've said time of year, water temperature, water clarity, current,
fishing pressure's huge too.
fishing pressure, quality of the fishery.
Yeah, how
So
much?
there's 6 factors so far that we've considered.
I've seen in some of the big tournaments where the fish are on the bank one day and you turn 150 boats loose and everybody's pre-fishing and all the fish get off the bank and they're out 30, 40 feet.
So depth is another thing.
Yeah, that's a lot of times determined by temperature.
Okay.
In the winter, they'll go a little deeper. Sometimes the water's a little warmer down there. When these lakes turn over, you know, the thermocline will change. And
Can you describe the thermocline?
well, like, let's say in the winter, or in the spring when the snow starts melting, cold water is coming out of all the creeks and it's coming out on top, right? So right back in that incoming water might be really cold water, but down below, before it's had a chance to mix, it might be warmer water. So they might be down there 50 feet, avoiding that rain and cold and snow runoff water.
Wow, okay.
And you'll sometimes you can see it on your graph sometimes, the thermocline. You know, the first 20
Sure.
feet will be a certain temperature, and below that it'll be colder.
Huh.
Surface temperature is usually warmer, especially the shallower you get, of course, you know. That's why fish like to spawn in those shallow flats.
Yeah. Oh, that's another factor, is habitat. Whether it's grassy or rocky or flat, like what you're saying.
Yeah. They need cover. They're ambush predators, you know.
We just listed off 8 different factors that you'll consider when you hit some water. So from that, you take all of those into account, and that's sort of how you choose your bait? Or do
Yeah.
you just throw the kitchen sink at them until something happens and then...
They call that junk fishing.
Yeah.
Just putting everything
mean,
up like we're doing today.
That's what I was going to say, is that's what we're doing today, and that's what I
Yeah.
normally do.
And that's usually how you'll finally figure out a little bit of a pattern, you know, and you develop these instincts over time when you've caught 10,000 fish.
Uh-huh.
And you get certain techniques that you're good at and ones you like, and you tend to go to those, your strengths, they call it.
Sure.
In tournament fishing, you fish your strengths.
Okay.
Some guys are great shallow water fishermen. Some guys are great with their electronics. And then some are just like me that can't catch anything. I'm just casting and casting. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, the only reason I came out here was to test out my gear, make sure that it all works right. So mission accomplished.
You're doing everything right. I just have not got us in fish, and I haven't been able to figure anything out.
I think what happened is the fish went on vacation.
Some lakes, there's a lot of dead water, and then there'll
Sure.
be a school of fish here, and then a lot of dead water. And eliminating the dead water and not spending a bunch of time in it is the key, but there's a shot.
So I noticed on your website, right on the front page, you've got a Bible verse up there.
Oh yeah.
John 1:3,
Yeah.
which is everything was made through him. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
I was curious about what that verse meant to you.
In the beginning was the Word. Well, to me, that whole thing in context is like John chapter 1, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word's Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus is God. There's one God, but that gets all crazy and hard to explain. Start delving into that, but that's what it says, and I believe it. Oh, you just think about, who knows? I may change it to something else someday, but I haven't visited that thing in so long. But when you're out here, or you get in places, you weasel into places when you're hunting or fishing. You get in backwaters like this, and it makes you think about those things, creation, and what it was made for.
Absolutely.
And it just stops and makes you think. So when you look back at your photos after a trip or whatever, you're just like, you're feeling thankful and blessed.
Yeah.
No matter what transpired, just the fact that you got to get out there and enjoy it.
Do you ever get to communicate any of those thoughts in your writing?
Yeah, obviously I'm usually focusing on some issue, but yeah, I try to remind people of the way things used to be, and because I can remember it hasn't been that long ago.
Sure.
In my lifetime, I've seen things that were, acceptable then that are no longer acceptable. We talk about hunting; it's under attack, and then there's things that were kind of unacceptable before that are just fully embraced and acceptable. And so every now and then I'll sneak in one of those little kind of editorial comments in an article or something. But usually my editors will keep me in check,
So they won't let you like full on share the gospel or anything.
Yeah, if you want to. I had one article that was titled "Trophies Laid Down," and the editor used this editorial liberty to say in one of the captions, he says, "I'll cherish the old rugged crosshairs." I thought that was kind of
That's awesome.
funny. I couldn't have thought of that. I took credit for it, but I really didn't think of that one myself.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it just depends who you're working with, you know. I just think we have to, we got to be out there, you know. We got to be visible. We're not called to be invisible.
Yeah.
We all got to do it. And not just that, but just the outdoors and conservation and our traditions and our heritage. We have to somehow, all of us, get off the sidelines and help out a little bit, you know. It may be just something as simple as joining, you know, one of these conservation orgs and boosting the membership numbers. And there's strength in numbers, you know.
Sure.
I mean, like right now, you look at OHA has like, 10,000 members or 13,000 members or something. And there's a couple 100,000 licensed hunters.
Yeah.
I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper than a case of beer, you know, to join.
Yeah, it's not even 10%.
So, yeah, so just drop the beer and you could afford the membership.
Really interesting that a lot of the time when I have this conversation with people, it kind of goes the same way where like we start off talking about how we need to be ambassadors for Christ and sharing our faith, and then it's like the same thing goes over to ambassadors for hunting.
Yeah.
And protecting hunting.
Well, I mean, the biblical worldview is different than the rest of the worldview, you know.
Uh-huh.
If you believe what it says, then you're going to see things through a totally different lens. But everybody's got, I think every Christian's got a ministry of some kind. It doesn't have to be huge. It's just we all have a ministry in some way.
Yeah.
Even if it's just our immediate family. And the same thing about, you know, sharing the outdoors with people that have never experienced it or grown up with it. I think they might be surprised how much they might enjoy tagging along on some of the adventures, you know, not all of them, but not where you're slaughtering stuff, you know, but
Sure.
just camping maybe, or
Yeah.
and then maybe they wouldn't have such a negative opinion about it. I am not a...
Got him?
Well, yeah, I think I got an actual fish.
All right.
Is he gonna stay on? Or he got off?
Oh, man.
He got off. Did you see him?
I saw him
Yeah,
for a split
just a
second.
He just grabbed the trailer hook and I horsed him a little bit. It wasn't that big a fish, but that was a bass.
Yeah.
A
Hey,
real,
first hookup of the day.
a real
It can only
live-
get better from here.
You know, I've only, like I said, the one time I was fourth after day one in a big pro-am down there in Shasta, and I was in bed and I got called at 10:30 at night by the tournament director. He wanted to know where I was fishing, and
That's weird.
I was like, that's none of your business. You know, I didn't say that, but I was
Yeah.
thinking, that's none of your business. I said, why do you want to know where I'm fishing? He says, well, I'm going to send a cameraman over there tomorrow.
Oh,
And I want him to, he said, are you okay with that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
sure.
that's
So
funny.
I told him the 2 or 3 spots I was bouncing around. Sure enough, the next day, the cameraman finds me and he jumps on my boat.
Wow.
All of a sudden, then I got quiet. And I was like, I quit doing what I normally do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wasn't moving as fast because I didn't want him to fall down with his camera.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm burning time and I'm not fishing the way I would normally fish because I knew I was on camera.
So you're saying that's what's happening right now?
It's kind of, yeah. But I did hook, I think I caught 2 or 3 on camera, and
Okay.
one clip he ended up using it on the Pursuit Channel telecast,
That's cool.
which was cool. My kids thought that was so funny.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
They were laughing. It was just a little dink spotted bass, but my partner got it in the net.
Special thanks to Jason Haley for his time on the water. It was awesome to get out there on his fancy bass boat. We did end up getting some slime on the boat with the nice 2 3/4 pounder largemouth, so that was fun. But more importantly, it was an awesome conversation. If you guys want to support Jason and what he does, go to his website, Haley Way Outdoors, and you can also find him on Facebook and Instagram. He writes for the Oregon Hunter magazine online. which you can get physically via a membership. And Jason wanted to encourage all hunters and anglers to think about joining. That way we can continue to fight for our rights to hunt and fish in our wonderful state of Oregon. So please make sure to follow Jason. That's Haley Way Outdoors. You can check out his social media and his writing. Thanks again, Jason, and thank you, listeners, for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.